complete the squares, what we're working with today. Everybody's notebook should be labeled. We're going to talk about perfect square trinomials. Whoever's talking needs to stop. Perfect square trinomials. All right, what makes a perfect square, what makes a trinomial a perfect square trinomial? First off, what are perfect squares? Who can give me a few examples? 25, 49, 4, 81.
I said 8.
Okay.
Is 8 1?
Guys,
Is 8 1?
what's going on? Because I doubt them saying their numbers is causing that much humor. Knock it off. Is 8 a perfect square?
Is it?
No.
Perfect cube.
It is a perfect cube. Good job.
Square. Oh, my bad.
It's okay. All right, we're listening.
121. 126.
Guys.
64.
Okay. X squared plus 8x plus 16. Is that a trinomial? 3 terms. Why is it a perfect square trinomial?
Because 16.
Let's factor and see. Is x times x x squared? This last sign is positive, which means my 2 signs are the same. This sign is plus, which means they are both positive. And I'm going to let you guys finish it from there. What times what is 16 that adds up to 8?
4.
Okay. This is why it's a perfect square trinomial, because these 2 terms or these 2 numbers come out to be exactly the same. The 2 factors are exactly the same. So I can write it as x plus 4 quantity squared. All right, let's try another one. X squared minus 6x plus 9. Okay, my last sign is again positive, which means my 2 signs are the same. Plus plus or minus minus?
Minus.
All right, so I'm going to let you guys finish factoring from there. Minus what?
3.
Is negative 3 times negative 3 positive 9? And when you do this inside outside, negative 3x and negative 3x, do we get the negative 6x? So it's x minus 3 quantity squared. All right, last one I'm going to do with you. X squared plus 12x plus 36. I want you guys to factor and check if it's a perfect square trinomial. Is it?
Yes.
All right, what does it factor to?
6 and 6.
Plus 6 and plus 6. Does that multiply to 36?
Yes.
And when we do our inside-outside, do we get 12x?
Yes.
So x plus 6 quantity squared. All right, a few things you notice. All these numbers at the end are what? Perfect squares. And they're all positive. I have kids ask that often. Is it always going to be positive? It has to be, because these 2 signs have to be the same. And if it's plus plus or minus minus, this last one's always going to come out to be positive. All right, now here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you try, and I'm not doing any explaining, on your own. I want you to figure out what that blank would be for it to be a perfect square trinomial. Oh, don't tell me. Write it down, and once you're done, factor it. Okay, try it. Shh. I'm going to give you 2 more, and I'm going to give you 1 more. And I don't want you saying it out loud. I just want you filling in the blank of what would make it a perfect square trinomial, and then factor without talking. All right, what's the first one?
5.
Okay, you guys, 5 here or 5 in the parentheses? 25 here, and then what goes in the parentheses? X plus 5 and x plus or minus? Are they both plus? Okay. Right here? Okay, let's check. It has to add up to 10, so is 5 times 5 25? And is 5x and 5x give me the 10x? So if I had used, what were you saying, 4 and 4?
No, I was saying 8 and 2.
Oh, 8 and 2, that wouldn't multiply to 25, nor would it add up to to the...
But then we moved 25. That's why I was saying it's 16 good.
But if you put 16 here, these two numbers have to be exactly the same.
Oh.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying 8 and 2, yes, but it's not a perfect square trinomial. I'm really glad you asked that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so how do I write this? X plus 5 quantity squared. All right, next one. 49
X minus.
minus 7 and x minus 7
X minus 7
quantity squared. All right. How many of you are able to just do those numbers in your head? How many of you have no idea how they're doing it? And it's okay if you don't because I haven't explained it yet. Can anybody explain how you got the 25? Yes.
I just think of like basically.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Alicia? Yes. Shh, guys, quiet down.
I got the 25 because I just didn't think of a number being there. I just thought of two numbers that would add up to 10 being the same.
Okay, did you guys hear her? She said, I thought of two numbers that would add up to 10 that have to be the same. And that the only way to get that is 5 and 5, and then 5 times 5 is
That's what I was trying to
25. And I know. Okay, did you guys do the same thing here?
Yeah.
What two numbers add up to negative 14 that are exactly the same? Negative 7, negative 7. And when you multiply them, you get the 49. Is this clear?
C.
All right. So I'm going to have you guys try that on your own. Oh, let's take a look at the shortcut really quick. What's 8 cut in half?
4.
And 4 times 4?
16.
Oh, and it's plus 4 plus 4. What's negative 6 cut in half?
3.
Negative 3, negative 3? And what's negative 3 times negative 3? 9. What's 12 cut in half?
Cut it in half.
Plus 6, and then plus 6 times plus 6 is
6.
36. 10 cut in half? 5 and 5. And 5 squared is 25. Negative 14 cut in half?
Negative 7.
Negative 7, and negative 7 squared is 49. Ashton,
Oh, what would you do if it was x squared plus 2x plus 5?
are you working on the worksheet? Which is okay.
Yeah.
You're ahead of me. I'll get there. All right. I'm gonna have you guys do this one on your own. Quickly, please. As quick can be. Oh, and really quick, what is the shortcut? You take the middle number, you cut it in half, and then
times it by itself.
times it by itself. You're right, square it. So what's negative 4 cut in half?
2.
Negative 2. And negative 2 squared is positive 4. So what goes here? X minus 2 minus 2
Minus 2 is quantity squared.
minus 2 quantity squared. All right, are we good?
Hand out the word.
What if what? What if this was 16?
I was like, why? How can we do the same number?
You can't replace it.
Wait, it's 4? No, like I knew it was 2, but I was like, how did
What if there was a 16 here instead? Guys, quiet down. Shh. Show it to me, Keith, while I write down the next piece. Yes. No, because 4 cut. Okay, if it was 16, you would have to put 4 and 4, and 4 times 4 is not 4. Okay. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
You know how you said to cut 4 into 2?
Mm-hmm.
What if you converted it into 8? Because you cut 8 into 4.
If this was an 8, that's.
That wouldn't work?
Shh. Guys, stop the talking. Find the value of C, then, oh no, that, sorry, that's that. Find the value of C that completes the square, then factor. All right, we call this last number here, these blanks, that's the value of C, because it's ax squared plus bx plus c. The constant is always called C. All right, number 1. X squared plus 6x plus blank. Okay, so what you're doing in your head, for some of you, and some of you are writing it down, you take the middle number, cut it in half, and square it. What's 6 cut in half?
3.
And what's 3 squared? 9. So 9 goes in the blank right here.
So you square it again?
Got it? And then we double bubble. And yes, you do have to factor. It says it right here. What is it going to be when I factor? X plus 3, x plus 3. And I heard it quantity squared. And that's the way I want you to write it in your final answer. Okay, so you have 2 answers. The 9 for the blank and the x plus 3 quantity squared. Okay, really quick, when you cut it in half, you got 3. And do you agree that 3 is what you put here and here? Do you see that?
Why do you
Okay, next one, number 2. X squared minus 12x plus blank. Okay, so in your head, you're taking the negative 12, cutting it half, and doing what to it? Squaring it. So do that now. And what do we get?
minus 6 and 36.
So this is 36. Do you agree? Shh. And then when we factor x minus 6 and x minus 6, does that multiply to 36 and add up to negative 12? X minus 6 quantity squared. Yes. This blank is the C value. That's what I was saying. This blank here, that's what they're referring to as the C. Shh. Please stop. All right. Number 3. I'm going to put a star by number 3. Because of time, I'm not going to explain it. I'm not even going to do it. But I want to show it to you so when you get to it on homework, there's maybe just one on homework. I don't want you freaking out. Okay. What is different about this one that makes it a little harder?
It's not
7's odd. It's not an even number that I can easily cut in half and square. Do you agree? Okay, hold on. Nope. Okay. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, decimals, fractions, none of that. I'm going to do this one with you on block day. So when you get to the 1 or 2 on homework where this middle number is not even, skip it for now, and I'll go over it on block day. Okay. Number...
You put it 200?
Can you solve it?
I will, not right now.
Just don't explain it.
Number 4. X squared plus 2x plus blank. I will do this one at the end if there's time, but I do want to get to the solving ones. Good. Hustle, please. Take the 2, cut it in half. Cut the 2, cut in half, and square it. What's 1 squared? 1. Who's doing all that giggling over there? Because 2 cut in half is 1, and 1 squared is 1. Yes. All right, what does it factor to?
X plus 1.
Plus 1 and plus 1? So x plus 1 quantity.
Shouldn't it be a 2?
No, because 2, look at, what's 1 times 1? And 1x plus 1x would give you the 2x. All right, now we're going to get to the harder type of problems, and it's not really hard, it just takes more work to get through. So I need to make sure everyone is done with this. Yes? Okay. I'm moving on then. The next section, for my next page, I'm going to write solve by completing the square. Solve, which is also on the test. Solve by completing the square.
For the first time, I think I'm going to pass the test.
Good. And you've been passing all your tests. I don't know why you say that. Solve by completing the square. All right. Did you guys on the previous page already learn how to complete the square?
Yes.
Okay, so the only thing new here is the word solve. Number 1. And most of the worksheet, Kayla, most of the worksheet is on this piece right here, so make sure you get to the video notes. All right. X squared, not needed, guys. X squared plus 8x minus 5 equals 0. All right. Listening. All right. So back in the day, back last unit, when I asked you guys to solve this, we did this. And some of you just did in your head. Not everybody did the X factor. And we looked for two numbers that multiply to -5 that adds up to 8. Is that possible on this problem? No. So, that's a thing of the past. They are no longer going to factor. It was nice when it did, but it no longer factors. So we're going to complete the square. On Friday, we'll learn a whole new method. So we have factoring, complete the square, and then a new method on Friday. All right, so I'm just going to show it to you, then we'll write the steps down at the end. First thing I'm going to do is add the 5. That gives me x squared plus 8x. I'm going to leave a space here and then equals 5. And now there's a reason I'm leaving a space there. Okay. Okay. Here, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a plus blank because I want to complete the square. Caden, are you taking notes with us? All right. I want to be able to complete the square. So I'm going to cover this. We did this on the previous page. Cut it in half and square it. What do we get? 4. We get 4 and then we square it, and that is 16. All right. I'm going to have you continue. I'm ignoring the right side for now. Go ahead and factor that. Double bubble and then quantity squared. Double bubble and then quantity squared.
Wait, so we do x plus 8 quantity squared equals 5? How does that make sense?
Okay, we're not going to worry about the 5 now.
Okay.
But it's not plus 8. I think I heard 8.
16.
X plus 4. So x plus 4 quantity squared. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Hustle, you missed all the notes. You don't ask to use the restroom next time you go beginning of class. All right. Shh. Guys. Okay, hold on. All right. First off, do you agree everything here is just what we did on the first page? Okay. How is it different? There's now an equal sign. When there's an equal sign, you treat things different. Now we're solving. You've learned back when you first learned how to solve equations, what you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So when I add 16 here, I will also be adding 16 here. Why? Because it's an equation, and I need to keep it balanced. I'm going to repeat that. Because it's an equation, what I do to one side, I must do to the other. This right here is the only new piece. What's 5 plus 16? All right. Now, before I go any further, did everybody follow my steps so far?
Yes.
The only new thing was I put the plus 16 on the other side because there was an equal sign.
Wait.
This part right here should be what we just did on the previous page. Take the 8, cut in half is 4. 4 squared is 16, plus 4 plus 4.
And when you put the 16 there, you have to do it on both sides.
We have to do it on both sides. All right. Now, I'm going to cover all of this. Does that look familiar to something we just did last unit? Yeah, what do I do to both sides? Square root. Good job, guys. Square root, square root. Square root and squares undo each other. Please stop the talking. X plus 4 equals root 21 plus minus. Good job. You need to be taking notes with us. Plus minus root 21. You're writing it down. You're not just sitting there. All right. And then I subtract the 4 to both sides. And are 4 and root 21 like terms? No. Which part do I write first? The 4 or the radical? I write the -4 first and then plus or minus root 21. Where?
Oh, never mind.
But I did that in my other class. That's why I thought I did it again. All right, x equals -4 plus or minus root 21. We're going to get practice with another one if that was a little too much. Okay, now, there's more work than what we did on the first page, but do you agree, like, at least half of it is the same thing, that piece right there?
Yeah.
All right, so if you were to explain this, say a friend was absent, and you had to explain these steps to them, what would you say the first thing to do is?
So add 5 to both sides.
Okay, so let's say move over the constant, because it's not always going to be 5. Move over the constant. The constant is the one that has no variable. All right. And then we did plus what to each side? Plus blank?
Add 16 to both sides.
Okay, and is it always going to be 16?
Add the
So-
missing number.
Blank, that's equivalent to the missing number. Plus blank on each side is what she said. Do you guys agree with that? Okay, after we did the blanks and we filled them in, what was this step right here? Starts with an F. Factor. The next thing we did was factor. And then step 4,
Figured out the
we did what to both sides?
Plus 16. Oh, square root.
Square root both sides. I'm going to put a little note here just so you don't forget when you square root, you put a what?
plus and minus.
Plus and minus. And the last thing we did was solve. All right, let's see if we can use those steps to do number 2. X squared minus 18x equals negative 57. Write it down. X squared minus 18x equals negative 57. Step 1, move over the constant. Do I have to do it or is it already done for me? Jared, enough. Okay. Guys, do you guys agree the constant's already been moved over?
Yeah.
Okay. So next step is put what on each side? Plus
Plus 57.
blank. All right. Guys. Okay. Need you listening. Mateo, put that away right now. I've already put the 57, or it's already been done for me. So step 1 is sometimes already done. It's done. We put in the blanks, and that's why I want you guys finishing it off right now, really quick. Yeah, we're not packing up. Finish it off. What is the blank? Can you guys at least give me that? 81 and 81. Double bubble, because that's the next step is factor.
8 minus 9.
Minus, did I hear 9? So that's x minus 9 quantity squared, and we simplified this. Anybody have that? It's 20, 24, close. And then what was the next step? Square root. And don't forget the plus minus. Yes, the square root and the square undo each other. X minus 9 plus or minus root 24. And what's my next step?
Plus 9 on each side.
Plus 9. But there's one more step after that I need to show you guys. Everybody's listening. X equals 9 plus or minus root 24. Over here, 21 breaks up to 7 and 3. No pairs. But 24 breaks up into pairs because it's 6 and 4, 2 and 3, and 2 and 2. Are any pairs going to be coming out? Yep. 2, 2, 2, 3. What comes out? 2. What stays in?
2 times 3.
So 9 plus or minus 2 root 6. Beautiful job, guys. X equals 9 plus or minus 2 root 6. Make sense?
Yeah.